Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, Bahashem, meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai, meaning He is our salvation, and that is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus a so-called black man who only came for the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, primarily here in the Western Hemisphere, but also to the rest scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth, who may look like the other nations, but through the patrilineal lineage go back to the Hebrew Israelites, all right? So this was an article I came across a couple of days ago, and it caught my attention because I read the headline and it jumped out at me. And check it out. It's BRICS, okay, which is an acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, okay? They formed a coalition to trade amongst themselves to become more independent and far away from the dollar as possible, okay? And they traded in a form of currency, as we're going to read in this article, that goes by the name of Bitcoin, all right? Now, what is this doing, you may ask? Well, this is doing two things. It's showing the rest of the world that we don't need the dollar to trade in these assets, okay? Because they're looking to get further and further away from the dollar by all means necessary, because they see the writing on the wall that the U.S. economy is finished, okay? It doesn't produce as it once did, Salakia, okay? So they see the writing on the wall. So it shows the other countries that, hey, we have a new way of completing transactions, okay? That we can get away from using the dollar. And the other thing that it does is that it sends a message to, hey, the dollar, that we no longer need to rely solely on you, okay? So let's check out this article. It says 2 countries settle oil, okay? And we know the petrodollar is pegged with the world reserve currency dollar, and that a lot of countries use the dollar to settle oil, okay, to buy oil. But here it is, two of the, should I say one of the two is biggest economy, that being China, use another form of payment other than the dollar to purchase oil. So it says 2 countries settle oil trade in new currency. Discard U.S. dollar. That's major, man. Because that shows you that we are what? At the end of this man's kingdom, okay? We at the end of it, okay? He's getting ready to usher in this new world order, okay? He's getting ready to take it into phase 2, all right? The dollar is no longer going to be that world reserve currency, all right? He's getting ready to bring in that what? That digital currency, that digital dollar, that microchip, okay? This is where it's all leading to, showing you that we at the end of this man's kingdom, the end of his era, okay? And this is all being set up by Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, okay? Now we're going to go on to read. It says, China is doing everything possible to advance the de-dollarization agenda and dim the lights on the U.S. economy, okay? So China is doing everything possible to turn the lights out of of the U.S. economy. Okay. Now here it is. The elites, the ones that are in charge, may just go ahead and pull the plug altogether, and in doing so, set up the narrative that China hit America with a cyber attack or something along those lines to cause what? A blackout, and to cause the dollar to even go further down. Okay? Because you Americans, you ain't gonna have no idea of what to do when all hell breaks loose, man. Okay? Because why? You are a debt-based society. You consume. Okay? And when the dollar is not worth anything else, you're not going to know what to do with yourselves. You can't produce, you can't form, you can't make anything that you can use to sustain yourself with in hard times. You can't do anything but consume. Okay? And the elites know that, all right? This is where it's all going to go down here in Babylon the Great, aka the United States of America. This is where the shit's going to hit the fan at. This is what's going to kickstart that implementation of the microchip. Okay? It's going to get started here in America when that dollar crashes, man. And we on our way to witnessing that very soon. Abaratasa, Father will. So it says, China is doing everything possible to advance the de-dollarization agenda and dim the lights on the U.S. economy. BRICS member China and Russia recently sidelined the U.S. dollar to settle oil and gas payments in 2025. Wow. That's some good energy, man. Oil and gas, you see? Two of the most important resources that America uses. Oil and gas. So if you got two major economies, or at least one major economy, that being China, that's not using the petrodollar or anything of that nature anymore, that's going to cripple the economy. Okay? That's going to look to what? Take that once renowned U.S. reserve currency peg dollar and devalue it. Okay? Because if economies as big as China is not using the dollar anymore, then what does that mean to tell you? That goes to tell you that, hey, this dollar is going to lose its purchasing power. It's not going to be backed by anything, although it's not backed by anything now except for an IOU or a promissory note, which is all that currency is a fiat currency. All right? There's nothing really backing the currency like it was. Once at one point in time, we had gold that was backing the dollar. Now there's quote unquote allegedly still gold in Fort Knox, but we don't know that for sure. So we don't know what's backing the dollar, all right? And these other countries, they see that, man. Okay, which is why Trump is trying to, threaten or put the fear in their hearts by saying, we'll put these tariffs on you if you don't, build and use America as your hub to produce and things of that magnitude. Well, guess what? China's not falling for it. And he's got a 245% tariff on China. After 100%, it doesn't matter. Okay? It might as well be 1,000% tariff. All right? China's moving full steam ahead, man. Okay? So it says the development adds pressure on the U.S. economy as developing nations are using new modes of payments and not the dollar. Okay? That's what, we very much well could see the end of the dollar by the end of these 90 days. Okay? This could very much well be the last time that you spend and have this type of autonomy to purchase things and actually have a little bit of purchasing power left. These 90 days go by and nothing's really resolved, especially from China. And if China kick back and throw it and use that same type of reciprocal tariffs against America, it's finished, man. Okay? It's finished. That's why they may have to... See, this article said China is trying to dim the lights, but the elites may have to cut the lights off here altogether and let civil unrest ensue. Okay? They got to get that order out of chaos, man, to bring in the mark of the beast. All right? Also known as the Hegelian dialectic, which is what? It's 3 stages to the Hegelian dialectic. One is you must cause the problem, which they're currently doing. 2, you must wait for the reaction, which they will do. 3, you have to have the solution, which they already have. Okay? Problem, reaction, solution. Hegelian dialectic. Okay? So we're here. All right? We're at the end. Okay? The dollar has seen its days, man. Okay? Now it goes on to say, I want to show you the article or the part where I looked up and seen that this is actually, holding its weight. It has validity behind it. So this part of the article, this paragraph says, $1 trillion asset management firm Van Eek recently confirmed. And I'm going to show you a few articles, okay? Because it's not just this. It's not just this headline, but we have other headlines too. So it says $1 trillion asset management firm Van Eek recently confirmed that BRICS members China and Russia have settled oil payments using the leading cryptocurrency Bitcoin. So this has been confirmed. All right. This is not just hearsay, she say, speculation. No, this has been confirmed. Okay. It says China and Russia have settled oil payments using the leading cryptocurrency Bitcoin. Not the petrodollar, but Bitcoin. This is a major step in advancing the de-dollarization agenda, where the U.S. dollar had a command in the oil and gas industry. Right. So guess what? We count the last days of this dollar having the leading, what does it say? Having the commanding in oil and gas industry, having that major step in advancing and having the leading command in oil and gas industry. Okay, we're here in the last days, and you see the people of America, the citizens of America, have no idea what's about to go down. Okay, you see, they're going to see the prices start to reflect on the de-dollarization of the dollar, and they ain't going to have no idea, a clue, until it's too late. And that's when all hell is going to erupt. They're walking into a burning house and they don't even know the house is on fire. The dollar is finished, man. Okay? The dollar is through. Signaling that what? This kingdom is on its last leg. Okay? This kingdom, this empire, dare I say, America is on its last leg. Okay? And even so, and even more, the Edomites, the so-called white man, the self-proclaimed white man. Okay? His kingdom is getting ready to be taken down by who? Our Lord and Savior, Yahushua. So it says China and Russia have reportedly begun settling some energy transactions in Bitcoin and other digital assets, wrote Van Eek. which is a $1 trillion asset management firm. This ain't just some old run of the mill. No, this is a $1 trillion asset management firm. Okay? Now let's check it out. This goes into China and Russia, and I typed in use Bitcoin to settle oil payments, and it says what? It says China and Russia have reportedly started using Bitcoin for settling certain energy transactions. It is a development that signals a shift away from the US dollar and global trade. The move comes amid growing trade tensions and increasing interest in decentralizing digital assets. This was 5 days ago. Reuters, which is a leading news reporter. It says Russia leans on cryptocurrencies for oil trade, sources say. So we see the movement away from the dollar, okay? And into what? Digital currency, cryptocurrencies. All right? This is the way of the future. They're moving away from the dollar and any other currency and taking it to what? Digital, crypto, which we know they can easily put on that microchip. Okay? That's one article. Now we go here to Yahoo Finance, and you remember we read in Watcher Guru that the $1 trillion million asset firm Van Eek, and this is Van Eek, it says it confirms. Van Eek confirms China and Russia are settling. That means they're paying or doing transactions or settling energy trades in Bitcoin. Okay? This is getting ready to set the mood for what? The dollar being de-dollarized, okay? Losing its value. All right? These 90 days is going to be pivotal, man, okay? These 90 days, and we're already probably down at least 10 almost, okay? By the end of this weekend, we probably at, day number 10, which says what? We only got about 80 more days left. It says, according to a recent Van Eek report, China and Russia are using Bitcoin to settle some energy trades. The development follows escalating global trade tensions after the Trump administration issued a tariff package targeting imports from China and other countries on April 2nd, which Donald Trump labeled Liberation Day. All right, well, we're going to see how bad these Americans want to be liberated. All right, because I'm willing to bet they don't want to be liberated. Because it's going to mean hard times for them. And this place is soft as cotton, soft as Charmin. All right, it says the announcement has drawn fears of greater monetary and geopolitical fragmentation. So it's pretty much, a done deal, man. Okay. They getting ready to, crash this bitch, for lack of better words. And the people that use and that's counting and supporting on the dollar, well, guess what? Get ready, man. Your 401k pensions, your Social Security, whatever that you got that's pegged to the dollar is going to devalue. That $1 million 401k you got ain't gonna be worth, but I'm gonna be reasonable and say that $1 million pension that you got right now is probably gonna be worth $2,500. The dollar's getting ready to lose big time. Your $600 a month or your $2,000 a month for Social Security that you're getting, you might well look at that as getting $50. I'm going to be reasonable, $150. You about to take a hit, okay? When this dollar starts to crash, and it's already crashing, but I'm talking about actually losing its value and purchasing power, where you paying astronomical prices for things that you would have never thought, like a loaf of bread or a gallon of milk or rent. They're gonna try to squeeze as much out of you as they can, which is gonna cause the people to be in what? In an uproar. $4,000 for rent. You think somebody gonna come on, man? You think somebody, and going into it, you think you're gonna have a job? No. You see, it's gonna be a lot of people getting laid off because of these tariffs. Okay? Because why? The corporations have to what? Cut back on their employees in order to what? Keep their businesses afloat. That means that the 1 or 2 employees that they're going to keep is going to be doing the jobs of 10 or 15 people, just so they can make costs, which is why they're going to introduce, or if they're not already, going to use AI and robots to make up the slack. Okay? It's all starting to come together like a well drawn out picture, man. That they getting ready to put this place underground, man. They getting ready to bury this place, man. All right, so it's finished, man. All right, just a matter of time. Okay, so let's get a few precepts now that that's been put out there. Let's get a few precepts. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9 and verse 5. It reads, "For like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end." Okay? So this empire was made with what? A beginning and an end in mind. Okay? When Yahweh put this basis of man up, he had in mind the beginning when this man would come back into power, with the what? Birth of the Renaissance period, and the end of this man when he would be what? Brought out of power with what? The way of the microchip. Okay? The microchip, once that is made mandatory, because they already got microchips out now, but it's not mandatory that people have that to do what? Conduct business or complete transactions. When it is made mandatory, then that signals the end of this man's kingdom. It says, "For like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest." We're seeing the end now being manifest. Countries moving away from the dollar. We know after this dollar, it's going to be what? The mark of the beast. They may use a transitional currency, but essentially it's coming to that microchip. They may use, like they said, Bitcoin or some cryptocurrency, and then later on transfer that into the microchip that you have to have in order to complete transactions. Okay? So we're witnessing the downfall of this man's kingdom. Okay? Live in color. Live and in person. We're witnessing this man's downfall. And when it actually starts to tumble and crash and implode on itself, these people aren't going to have any idea what to do. That's when knowing the names are going to come in, and that's when doing what we supposed to be doing now in these days are going to come into place. Revelation 3 and 10. Because thou hast kept my word in patience, I will also keep thee during the hour of temptation. That's when they make that microchip mandatory, okay? And we're coming into that time, okay? So let's get Isaiah 46. And let's read that from the top. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 46, and verse 1. It reads, Baal boweth down, Nebo stoopeth. Their idols were upon the beasts and upon the cattle. Your carriages were heavy loaded. They are a burden to the weary beasts. You see? And this microchip is going to be the new idol, the last idol. Okay? This is what they're going to feed some of you. This idol, as it says in 2nd Ezra 16 and 68. Let's read that. This is 2nd Ezra 16 and 68. It says, For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you, and feed you, being idle, with things offered unto idols. What is that? That's going to be that microchip. That's going to be the idol. Okay? You have to have this. You can't buy. You can't sell. You can't have anything on the grid once it's reestablished unless you have the microchip in your right hand or in your forehead. Okay? This will be the new idol. Okay? And people are going to show their allegiance by taking it up under their skin, their epidermis, in their right hand or in their forehead. This is to show your allegiance to the beast. Okay? It's going to be showing that you are fully on board by taking his microchip. Okay? So going back to Isaiah 46 and verse 2, it reads, They stoop, they bow down together. They could not deliver the burden, but themselves are gone into captivity. Hearken unto me, O house of Jacob, and all the remnant of the house of Israel, which are born by me from the belly. Okay, that puts a cut to everyone could be saved. No, you have to be of the flesh. This is for only the Israelites, by flesh, by blood. This is not for anyone else. Okay? It always have and it always will be only for the Israelites. It says, which are born by me from the belly, which are carried from the womb. And even to your old age I am he, and even to hoar hairs will I carry you. I have made and I will bear, even I will carry and will deliver you. So this is only for the Israelites, man. This is exclusively only for the Israelites, okay? When you see Gentiles and Greeks, those are Israelites that are in the Gentile mindset, that were brought up in the customs of Greek, okay? You have to get that in the Apocrypha, okay? You have to eat this roll in its whole totality. You can't read the Old Testament and New Testament and get the whole picture without joining the two together with the Apocrypha, okay? So it says, verse 5, to whom will you liken me and make me equal and compare me that we may be like, Slakia, right? See, this Edomite, this so-called white man, wants to make himself a god, and he wants you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans to worship him like a god. He wants you to look at him as if he is the Most High, okay? Which is why he's going to make this chip And in order for you to get your daily rations, your medical attention, and whatever else, you're going to have to take this chip, signaling that he is your God. Okay? And that's why the Most High is saying, who else is, what does it say? It says, to whom will you liken me and make me equal and compare me that we may be like, right? This chip can't do nothing that the Most High can't do. This microchip was put into the thought of this man's head by the Most High. So what do you think that this microchip can do that the Most High can't do? See? But Jake, you're gonna be lost out there when all hell breaks loose to figure it out on your own, man. See? We getting in right now. We understanding that this microchip, hey, this is something that the Most High allowed this damn Edomite to have to bring in the end of his society. Okay? Everything that this microchip is alleged to do, the Most High can do. Just like when Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh magicians threw down a snake, threw down a rod and it turned to snake. The Most High told, if I'm not mistaken, Moses, it may have been Aaron, to throw down their rod, and it turned into snakes, and it what? Devoured the snakes of Egypt. Okay? Same thing, man. Ain't nothing that this microchip can do that the Most High can't do. And then some. Matter of fact, this microchip paled in comparison to what the Most High can do. All right? It's just to deceive those that aren't meant to get it. And by it, I mean the understanding. Okay? Because you're going to have 2/3 of our people that do take it because they don't have any understanding. Because why? They wasn't meant to get it. For you, it is to understand, but to them, it isn't. Okay, this isn't for everybody, man. So it says, verse 6, they lavish gold out of the bag and weigh silver in the balance and hire a goldsmith, and he maketh it a god. They fall down, yea, they worship. That's exactly what they're going to do when this microchip is introduced to the world. Because right now, the goldsmith has just about completed this microchip. It's just waiting for that reaction that is getting ready to get once this dollar crashes. And then the people are going to bow down and worship it. Okay? And yes, even 2/3 of our people are going to bow down and worship this. Okay? It says, they bear him up. Slacky, verse 7. They bear him upon the shoulder. They carry him and set him in his place. And he standeth from his place, shall he not remove. Shall he not remove, right? See? This idol, it can't get up and walk. You see? But these people are going to lie and praise this thing as if it's a savior. Okay? Oh, it saved my son. He had cerebral palsy and now he can, all that, you know. They're going to try to make this chip a god. Okay? It says, they bear him upon the shoulder, they carry him and set him in his place. And he standeth from his place, shall he not remove. Yea, one shall cry unto him, yet can he not answer, nor save him out of his trouble. Oh, please, I'm going to take this microchip so my baby can get something to eat. They're going to try to rationalize every type of decision they make to take that microchip. Oh, I got to get this. And it ain't going to save them, man, because in the end, taking that microchip is going to get you destroyed. Revelation 14 and verse 9 and 10, if I'm not mistaken. It says, Remember, no, where we at? 8. Remember this and show yourselves, man. Bring it again to mind, O ye transgressors. Remember the former things of old, for I am the Most High, and there is none else. I am the Most High, and there is none like me. This damn microchip ain't like the Most High, man. Okay? It ain't. It's a false idol. Okay? It ain't like the Most High. Okay? It can't give you eternal life. All right? It just can't. This is Esau Edom's attempt at being God, man. On the left-hand side, as it says in 2 Thessalonians 2, he sits in the temple. Let's see if we can get that. This is his attempt at being God, man. But he's going to fail miserably. Okay, 2 Thessalonians 2, in verse 4, it says, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he as the Most High sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. So he really wants this to be what gets the Israelites to worship him, but only the 2/3 of our people are going to worship him by taking his chip. The elect, the 1/3 isn't. Okay? But this is his attempt. All right? At what? At being a God in his eyes. All right? By making this microchip mandatory that you can't buy or sell unless you have it. You won't be able to receive medical attention. You won't be able to receive anything. Okay? And for the most part, the people are going to laud and praise this. Okay? Because why? You got to remember, after coming out of all that turmoil and that chaos and uncertainty, they're going to be wanting some type of, closure and knowing that things are going to go back to the way they were. Just remember back in 2020. When that thing happened, and then following, they had you put those diapers on your face. The people were, just think, when they said you don't have to wear those diapers anymore on your face, the people were like, yes. Well, just think how much more this time it's going to make 2020 look like a walk in the park. When all hell breaks loose, and then when they say, we got the solution, you just got to take this microchip, they gonna worship and praise and run down and get it, man. Okay? So it ain't far-fetched to know that, they're going to use the same play. So it says, remember the former things of old, for I am the Most High, and there is none else. I am the Most High, and there is none like me. Verse 10, declaring the end from the beginning. He's already declared the end of this man since he put him in power. When he put Esau Edom in power, he already declared his end. He already knew how the end would end. That's why he put the spirit on John the Revelator to write it in Revelation. Okay? He put the spirit through Yahushua on John the Revelator to write it, how the end of this man's kingdom would come by the way of what? That microchip, and then what? Those missiles. Matter of fact, all the prophets, for the most part, saw the destruction of Babylon the Great, America. Okay? They wrote about it. Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Daniel, Ezra, they all wrote about it. Obadiah, Zechariah, they all had a part in seeing the downfall of America, and not just America, Babylon the Great, but Esau Edom, the so-called white man. So it says, Verse 10, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done. Right. Because we had to wait for this time. As it says in Habakkuk 2 and 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it tarry, meaning it may take a while, though it tarry, wait for it. It will not tarry. It will surely come. Well, here we are. Okay, we're here at the doorstep of them getting ready to introduce this microchip to the whole world, man. All right, by what? The way of chaos. All right, predominantly here in America. All right, we here, man. Okay. It says, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand and I will do all my pleasure. Verse 11, calling a ravenous bird from the east, the man that executed my counsel from a far country. And he put this man to execute his counsel, man. Okay? He put this man up in power to do just that. This is the wicked of the wicked. This is Esau, Edom. Yea, I have spoken it. I will also bring it to pass. So this microchip will come to pass. And Esau, Edom will be the one that introduces it by the way of this dollar crashing or something to that effect, where America is no longer regarded as that, beacon of light, or as it says in Jeremiah, that golden cup that Yahweh has used to cause all the other nations to drunk and have caused them to go mad. So it says, I have spoken it, I will also bring it to pass. I have purposed it, I will also do it. Verse 12, hearken unto me, you stout-hearted that are far from righteousness. I will bring near my righteousness. It shall not be far off, and my salvation shall not tarry. Right. Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai is on his way. Okay. Soon as that microchip is made mandatory, we ain't got that much longer before Babylon the Great, aka America, is destroyed and Yahweh Shai returns. It says, and I will place salvation in Zion, for Israel my glory. Right. So soon as that chip, we out, man. Not much longer afterwards, Babylon is going to be destroyed by the way of thermonuclear missiles, ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, alongside with the chariots, and Yahweh Shai coming back. We gonna be delivered, man. Okay, so we just got to keep going, man. Okay, taking it one day at a time, man. All right, these prophecies are going to be fulfilled. All right, the dollar is getting ready to be no more in existence, okay, as being what? The world reserve currency. All right, they're getting ready to bring in a new form of banking. All right, it's going to be spearheaded by that microchip, but they may use a Trojan horse, like a digital currency of some sort, to bridge the gap. Okay, but eventually we know they're coming with the microchip, man. All right, that's prophecy. Okay, so let's finish up and close out in 1 Peter 5 and 8. And this is the book of 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. And it reads what? Be sober. You see, if you don't believe any of this, then you ain't sober, man. You drunk off of the philosophies and ideologies and everything else that this society has to offer you to think that this place will never be destroyed. Oh, I just got a grand opening of this business, my business. I'm looking to, hey, man, F all that, man. Okay, yeah, I just got a grand opening, man. We gonna be here for a while, man. That's the wrong mindset to be in, man. Okay, you get your daily bread, yeah, sure, but you don't think to yourself you want to be here in America for another 50 years, or yet alone another year or two. We're trying to get out of here yesterday, okay? So we got to continue to be sober. And also it says to be what? Be vigilant. Continue to watch. Why? Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Right? Those that aren't watching. Those that don't know that the dollar is on his last leg. Okay? Those that don't know that things are finna get real rough out there. Real hard times are getting ready to come. Those are the ones that are going to be easily devoured. Because why? They're not sober. They're not vigilant. They're not watching. They're not measuring the times diligently. They're not getting their bodies, their houses, their temples in order, man. So Yahweh Shah is going to come like a thief in the night and creep up on them unaware and catch them naked without their garment on. All right? But for those of us that are doing what we're supposed to be doing and being sober and vigilant and got our garment on, we're going to be what? Ready for when Yahweh Shah comes back. Okay? So that's going to be it. That being said, pray some more of us edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong. Stay in the faith. We almost home. Shalom. Peace.